You are watching Luntha television and it's time for news. My name is Helbert. And first a look at our top stories. Catholic Church leader Pope Francis preaches gospel at Bishop's 16th General Assembly. Malawi's first finance minister John Tembo laid to rest. Report reviews gross mismanagement of public fund. And in news from elsewhere, at least 18 people killed in blast at illegal oil refinery in Nigeria. We have these and more other stories to stay tuned in. The Catholic Church leader, Pope Francis, told a college of bishops on Wednesday that embracing the love of Jesus is the vital aspect of gospel. The solemn mass for the opening of the 16th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops began with a modern version of the tradition hymn invoking God's protection and blessings on the Church. This also included invoking God's protection on Pope Francis and the bishops and the flock entrusted to him. We have the details.
In his homily, Pope Francis recorded a difficult moment in Jesus' earthly ministry recounted in the day's Gospel. On the moment of desolation, the Pope said Jesus has a gaze capable of seeing beyond. He said Jesus is the only one who praises the wisdom of the Father and is able to discern the good that glows unseen, the seed of the word welcomed by the simple, the light of the kingdom of God that shows the way even in the night. At the beginning of the General Assembly, the Pope said we do not need purely natural vision made up of human strategies, political calculations, or ideological battles. Instead, he said we are here to walk together with the gaze of Jesus, who blesses the Father and welcomes those who are weary and oppressed. He explained that Jesus invites us to be a church that contemplates God's action and discerns the present, a church that does not face today's challenges and problems with a divisive and contentious spirit, but on the contrary, turns its eyes to God, who is communion, and with awe and humility blesses and adores him, recognizing him as its only Lord. The 16th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synod of Bishops, commonly referred to as the Synod on Synodality, is an upcoming Synod of Bishops of the Catholic Church, which will conclude in October 2024. The assembly is being held under the theme for a Synodal Church, Communion, Participation, and Mission.
The body of former Malawi Congress Party President John Zenas Ungapake Tembo has been laid to rest in Kaphala village in the area of Senior Chief Kapuga in Dedza district. Several political party leaders, including the country's president Lazarus Chakwera and Saulos Chilima, attended the funeral, which was accorded with a military honor. Tembo died last week after a short illness at a certain private clinic in Lilongwe City. Emmanuel Chiocha with the details.
In his remarks, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Madali Tsogazombo, described John Tembo as a man of integrity, asking fellow politicians to learn from his legacy. President Chakwera said he will remember Tembo as a man of high moral background, loyal, God-fearing, and a leader of opposition who had the interest of his people at heart. John Zenas Ungapake Tembo came to this world and he conquered. Some of his major achievements include facilitating a construction of Reserve Bank offices in Lilongwe and staff houses in Area 10, 18, 43, and 47, and Chayamba Building in Blantyre. Tembo was a chairman of different statutory corporations, for example, Press Corporation, New Building Society, and Vipya Plantations, where we have Chikangawa Forest. Body of John Zenas Ungapake Tembo has been buried with a military honor on Wednesday, 4th October 2023 at Kapala Village, TA Kapuka. For Luntha TV, this is Emmanuel Chiocha.
The Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace has called on government to come up with a recovery plan on all issues affecting the nation. This is contained in a statement which CCJP released on Wednesday, citing issues including economy, security, and social challenges. The statement, titled Continued Socio-Economic Misery Amid Poor Stewardship, says Malawi is currently going through a socio-economic crisis as witnessed by the macroeconomic and micro environment, which continues to cause untold harm on the majority poor. Jacqueline Saidi reports.
CCJP further expressed its concern with the prevailing social injustice, urging the Luntha Alliance-led administration to regain its moral enlightenment so that they can become sensitive to the wailing Malawians. In the statement, CCJP National Coordinator Boniface Chibwana said the government is continuously losing direction, a development that winkles poor Malawians. In an interview, Chibwana said that there is need for every authority taking part in the development of the nation to play their role in uplifting the lives of the majority poor.
As a matter of agency, we say the government should try as much as possible to have the recovery plan so that the social protection measures should be put in place.
Government spokesperson Moses Kunkuyu could not be drawn for a comment by the time we went to press. Malawi has been rocked in a whirl of economic challenges, security crackdown, and lack of forex, which in most circumstances have resulted into the skyrocketing of basic needs. At the moment, fuel pumps have run dry, and the Luntha Alliance government is on the record as having attributed the fuel scarcity to lack of enough forex in the stocks. For Luntha Television News, this is Jacqueline Saidi.
Civil society organizations in the country have been impelled to work with government and seeking debt restructuring engagements, debt owners and seek cancellation on the hard-toothed debts. The call comes against the background of revelations first in the Malawi Economic Justice Network report, which indicates that there is gross mismanagement of special drawing rights from the International Monetary Fund, although Malawi started getting the funds in a form of loan to earn poverty. The money has not been used for its intended purpose. Making his remarks during a validation workshop when he shared the study findings with stakeholders in Lilongwe, renowned economist Professor Bechani Chereni noted that there is need to empower CSOs with watchdog capacity so that they are able to monitor public funds management. Tandu Nzumara reports.
Malawi was in August 2021 allocated 133.0 million SDRs, which was equivalent to $190.0 million to help deal with the negative impacts of COVID-19 on international trade. Findings of the study show some indications that the disbursed SDRs may have been utilized on areas that were not purposed, as the SDRs were disbursed to the government of Malawi, who sold 70% of the allocation to the Reserve Bank of Malawi for the latter to manage the foreign reserves. According to Dr. Chereni, questions still remain as to what exactly was the remaining 30% used on, and as such, it is the responsibility of CSOs, the media, and members of parliament to be empowered with knowledge on their SDRs so that they can ask the right questions to authorities for accountability's sake.
When we get all that, when we understand how it was realized, how it came, which law has been used, whether it's a loan or it's a donation or it's because of exports, when we understand all that, it will be easier for the civil society to, create interventions which are going to be good for the sake of making sure that there's no abuse of the foreign exchange itself.
In her remarks, Merging Executive Director Berthali Bipapiri noted that since Malawi joined the IMF in 1965, Malawians have not seen the benefits of the money despite that they are still paying back the loans.
Jars are there to cushion the reserves, the forex reserves. So it must be complied to the same fact. So what we are here for, we are advocating, is to say let policy guide us. The policy for SCDRs is for forex reserves, which would bail us out at a time of crisis like this one, which we are passing through, the fuel crisis.
Merging, with funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation through African Forum and Network on Debt and Development, AFRODED, is implementing a one-year project called Supporting Advocacy and Capacity Building of African CSOs for increasing voices in the special drawing rights agenda and wider debt issues at national, regional and global levels. For Luntha News, this is Tandiwe Mzumara.
Still watching news right here on Luntha television and on our various social media platforms. Now do stick around as we'll be back shortly after the break.
Personal growth to business solutions, there is no limit to what you can imagine. It's time to reimagine banking. Centenary Bank, our bank.
Introducing the Central Equipment Identity Registry, CEIR.
Yes, the CEIR will empower mobile subscribers and strengthen their security by allowing them to block or trace stolen mobile phones, check the genuineness of a mobile device while buying, and blacklist mobile devices involved in illicit activities across all mobile network operators in Malawi.
Wow! Chingira! Put your mobile device security first.
For more information, contact Macra via email dg@macra.mw or call 261 toll-free from any Malawian telephone network. This message is brought to you by the Malawi government via the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, Macra.
Welcome back. Now let's have a look at our top stories once more before we proceed. Catholic Church leader Pope Francis preaches gospel at Bishop's 16th General Assembly. Malawi's first finance minister John Tembo laid to rest. Report reviews gross mismanagement of public fund, and in news from elsewhere, At least 18 people killed in blast at illegal oil refinery in Nigeria. Moving on, the Department of Disaster Management Affairs has challenged journalists in the country to verify their stories with credible sources to avoid creating panic in times of devastating disaster. Disaster Risk Management Officer Daniel Mandala said this on Tuesday in Cheu during the media orientation workshop on the same organized by Balaka District Council. Mandala said media form a direct link between people and the department, hence the need for journalists to be aware of the disaster risk management cycle. From Balaka, Andrew Nandolo reports.
Mandara said in times of disasters, media should avoid exaggerating information to avoid panic, since they are from one trusted source of information. He said it is against this background that the Department of Disaster Management Affairs in Balaga District organized the orientation workshop in order to equip reporters with accurate information about disaster risk management cycle.
Media plays a very direct link in educating the public in as far as the DRM is concerned. So it is very key for media to be very aware of disaster risk management in all the three cycles. That to say, the media needs to know what to be done before the disaster, what needs to be done during the disaster, and what needs to be done during the recovery of the disasters. So it's very key for the media, for journalists, to be aware of these stages, so that whatever they report should have the subsistence that may have an impact to the communities that we are working with. There's a need for media to be beefed up with information, technical information, so that they improve if the gaps are there. Likewise, they take the positives which may originate from the training.
On her part, one of the participants, Mary Makringa, who is Balaka District Information Officer, thanked Dodma for the timely engagement as the rainy season, which in most cases is associated with disaster, approaches.
Okay, this workshop was very important to us reporters. It was like a refresher to us. As you remember, during the training, we've been reminded on the do's and don'ts during our reporting. And also we've been highlighted on the seasonal forecast for 2023-2024. So as reporters, I think it's our duty to disseminate the same to the community. The community needs to know the weather patterns, and it's our duty as reporters to do so.
In the recent years, Malawi has been hit by many disasters, including Cyclone Freddy early this year. Cyclone Freddy was doubled to be record-breaking in its strength, length, and resurgence, and has displaced over 1.5 million people in Malawi, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe.
Police in Mangochi have arrested 5 men in connection with a series of stolen cell phones during the recently concluded Sun Music Festival held in the district. Mangochi Police Station Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Amina Tebani Daudi has told us that the suspects, Edward Austin, Sidrek Chilembwe, Yusuf Stambuli, Aaron Piri, and Yamigani Mufati, who reside in Lilongwe, used a blue Toyota Corolla saloon and posed as guests at one of the rest houses within the township. She added that the 5 left their motor vehicle at the premises and commuted to the event with the sole intention of stealing cell phones. Tebani Daudi explains more.
Their names are Edward Austin, Cedric Chilembwe, Yusuf Stambuli, Aaron Pili, and Yamikan Mufat, and they all reside in Lilongwe. They're being suspected to be connected to a spate of stolen cell phones at the recent Sand Music Festival. From our findings, they booked a room at one of the rest houses in town and were commuting to the event just to steal cell phones from the celebrants. According to our records, a number of cell phones were reported stolen during the event, of which we acted immediately, which led to the arrest of these 5. And coincidentally, we were tipped by the owner of the said rest house after he became suspicious when these 5 stayed out for days. We also searched their room they had booked, where we recovered 20 cell phones, which include iPhone, Samsung, Redmi, Tecno, itel, Huawei, and one TNM Mpamba agent phone. It's our plea to those who reported about their cell phones being stolen to visit our office for identification of their property.
And now in news from elsewhere, at least 18 people, including a pregnant woman, have died in the southern Nigeria when an illegal oil refinery exploded into flames, a security official and residents said. The blaze took place early on Monday in Rivers State, Ino district, when the homemade refinery ignited a nearby oil reservoir, leaving victims severely burned, according to a report by AFP News Agency on Tuesday. We have the details.
In another report, the Reuters news agency, citing Irigo Aiba community reader, said as many as 37 people died in the blaze. 2 people who were likely to escape also died this morning in the hospital. Refuse Welcome, the head of security in the community, told Reuters. Irigo refining is in the oil-rich Niger Delta region of Nigeria as impoverished locals tap pipelines to make fuel to sell for a profit. The practice, which can also be as basic as boiling crude oil in drums to extract fuel, is often deadly. An OPEC member and one of the Africa's largest petroleum producers has for 4 years tried to crack down on illegal crude refineries with little success, in part because powerfully connected politicians and security officials are involved, local environmental groups say. Crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and illegal battles over oil spills are pushing oil majors operating in Nigeria to sell their onshore and shallow water assets to concentrate on deep water operations.
And that also concludes our today's news bulletin. But before we go, a reminder of our top stories. Catholic Church leader Pope Francis preaches gospel at Bishop's 16th General Assembly. Malawi's first finance minister, John Tembo, laid to rest. Report reviews gross mismanagement of public fund. And in news from elsewhere, at least 18 people killed in blast at illegal oil refinery in Nigeria. My name is Hilbert Scott, and thanks for watching, and it's goodbye for now.